evening and thanks for joining us tonight. If you have a family member right now in a nursing home, we recognize right off the bat, these past couple months have been a new kind of awful. It's why scenes like this from yesterday hit us all. A nursing home in Salisbury brought families as close together as they could in this pandemic. And while it was fully appreciated, it was also a reminder there is no full substitute for a hug and a held hand.
Daddy, I love you.
COVID-19 has cut off a lot of people from their spouses, their parents, and their grandparents. And it's because the older among us right now are the most vulnerable. In fact, here in North Carolina, you can see some of the numbers here. The data shows us 65 and older, those who are that age, make up 20% of total cases, but 85% of the deaths. State numbers also show us that 51% of all deaths have happened in nursing homes. It's why those nursing homes have largely kept their doors closed to all visitors. This week, we have been exploring COVID-19's impact on our relationships. And tonight, WBTV's Amanda Foster talks to Steve Langley, whose mom, Nancy, is in a nursing home in Harrisburg.
Steve Langley has made this his new normal. The new way he spends time with Mom Nancy.
Hey! It's challenging to try and connect with someone and visit with someone through a pane of glass, you know, and she can't hear real well, and you have to yell, you know, I mean, But just the act, I think, physically of seeing each other and the act of us taking the time to come over there, I think, is reaffirming and reassuring to her.
What do you talk about?
You know, mundane stuff. Yeah, how's the food? How are you doing? You know, it's hard to have an in-depth conversation, meaningful conversation while you're yelling through a pane of glass.
His mom's cell phone service isn't the best, so for now, this is how they meet. She's lived here for a year and a half.
When you all made that difficult decision, did you ever expect or ever anticipate that there would be a situation?
Of course not. No,
like
not
now.
in my wildest imagination did I ever think it would end up being basically her being sequestered and locked down. I mean, you know, no one could ever envision that scenario. Even if I had, in my wildest imaginations, considered a possible viral outbreak, that wouldn't have been part of the puzzle that I would have thought about.
How did you feel once you saw those phases kind of come through where it's one person and then you can't go at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, I, you know, got nervous and scared for her, you know, how well she would handle it psychologically. You know, she's a very social person. She's always been a real, you know, outgoing person who's very touchy-feely. We always hug and kiss, and you know, so for her to not have that human connection, that interaction, and to be isolated from you know, two things that she loves the most in her life are her friends and family and eating food. You know, good cooking, home cooking.
He says not having an end date for this type of visiting is tough on them both. There are good days and bad days.
How do you feel not knowing when the next time is that you'll actually be able to be in the same room?
It's something I try not to think about, to be honest. I just try and take it one day at a time and, you know, see what the news is each day, and if the numbers are going up or coming down. I try not to stress about it too much and just sort of call her as often as I can, sneak over there for a renegade window visit when I can, you know, and you know, try and lift her spirits.
How do you feel your relationship with your mom has changed since all this started?
You know, I think it's the same. My mother and I were very, very close before. I'm the youngest in the family. I'm the baby in the family, you know, so I'll admit it, I was a little spoiled. She knows that, you know, we're on the one, you know, we're connected. Whether we can see each other or touch each other, hug each other, we know we're still as close as we could possibly be, you know, so I have to be satisfied with that for now.
Satisfied with peering through these pains.
Can you put your hand up there?
Anticipating the day Steve can be with his mom again on the other side.
When you look forward to that first day that you'll be able to be face to face with her in the same room, whenever that is, what do you think about? What do you think that will be like after all this?
Well, of course, it'll be a happy occasion. I'll be taking her some good home cooking, that's for sure. You know, in the end, I think we're all gonna have a deeper appreciation and value situations a little deep, a little further, a little deeper, a little more, you know?
Yeah, a lot of perspectives have changed in all of this. Our Amanda Foster joins us now live to talk more about this. And Amanda, we know how hard this virus has hit older people in nursing homes. How stressful is that, really, for all involved?
Yeah, Jamie, Steve tells me that his family is drawing some of their anxiety, seeing some of the news reports of other facilities that have experienced outbreaks during this time. And he says he's told right now that their facility is slated to have some testing here coming up, so at least they will know either way what the health is of their own mother and those that are around her.
That's pins and needles, waiting for those kinds of results. Now, this week you have also talked to a single person, an extrovert, dealing with not being with people, new parents, also a longtime married couple. Did you find there were common threads in how each is coping?
Yeah, all those situations are very different, but something that they're all kind of pointing to right now is just not knowing when all of this is going to end. A lot of us are experiencing that, trying to get through our individual situations, but just not knowing what the end date is. But they're all kind of pointing to some positivity. Everybody's grabbing on to those silver linings in their situations to kind of pull through to whenever this is over. But really, positivity is what's keeping people going, a really good attitude.
I'm curious, as you went into this, you've done a terrific job reporting on these stories. Have you learned something through this process this week?
Sure, I think everybody's kind of dealing with their own experience, but everybody's in their own version of isolation, and it's really important to talk with your neighbor if you can from a safe distance, but talk with people you know and really learn about their experiences, because I think what everybody kind of needs right now is just to be heard. So that's really what I learned this week, is just being able to sit down with people for half an hour, and talk about their situations. Everybody just wants to be heard and to tell their story.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is, Amanda, that, all the things we're all sort of feeling individually is what everybody else is feeling. So for you to kind of put a face to that and let us know that everybody's kind of feeling this way, I think was really helpful this week. Terrific reporting. Thank you, Amanda, for that. We really do appreciate it. All right, now we do want to talk, too, about the impacts of this isolation on our older family members, what Amanda was just talking about tonight. What can we do to lessen